is going on, Raider Nation? It is JT coming at you with another episode of the Raider Cast, your podcast for everything silver and black. Today, I am joined by another special guest, another friend of mine, Turtle, aka Raiders Simp on Twitter, so go give him a follow there. And he's also going to be starting to do YouTube over on his channel, Cosmic Raider, so definitely go give that a sub. It's going to be in the description. And so, Turtle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Stoked to be in my first video with you, so ready to get into this.
Hell yeah. So today, as you saw from the title of the video, it's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly so far as we're heading into week 4 of the season. Now, the Raiders starting 0-3. Obviously, that's not good. That is very bad and it's very ugly. But we're going to try and highlight some of the good players that we've noticed are good overall, general things. We're going to talk about some bad/disappointing players and things overall. And then also the ugly, the downright atrocious, very just not good of the team, and pretty much reasons why we're 0-3 right now. So to start us off, we're going to talk about the offense, and that's going to be all Turtle. So I'm going to hand it over to Turtle, and he's going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the offense so far.
Alrighty, well, starting off with the good, we're coming off a big game from him, Mac Hollins. In the offseason, I wasn't really sure what I was expecting from him. We heard all the hype, and some fans from previous teams he was with were buying into that hype also, telling us it was a good signing and whatnot. So I had some hope for it, but I didn't expect this, to be honest. Him leading the team, almost being the number one wide receiver, since Adams has not been getting as much as focus in the offense as he was week 1.
Yeah.
But so yeah, absolutely massive game from Hollins, and it wasn't just him being open. It's he was mossing people, adjusting to the ball well. He's got great hands, and he knows how to get open.
Yeah.
Just overall, a very good piece to have in that offense, and I'm hoping he's around for a long time because he looks fantastic.
Yeah, he's been looking really good both on special teams and on offense, just overall.
Just an absolute complete player, and everything we've heard this week in interviews, apparently he's an amazing person too. So really interesting there. Going to bad, it's not necessarily that they're a bad player or that they're playing super bad, but someone I've been kind of disappointed in this season so far is Darren Waller. It's just not been the production that I think we've really expected from him, and then this last game was just an absolute mess of just drop passes, even if they weren't perfect, that he still got his hands on them. And with a frame like his and how big he is and fast, and just for who Waller is and what we've seen from him in the past,
yep,
he should be coming down with those, making those catches and making those plays. And then there seems to almost be a lack of focus at times when it comes to catching some of these passes that we saw last week, and then running the wrong route on other plays that ended up causing other errors and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's just been a big disappointment watching him this season, because obviously he's a fan favorite and we know what he's capable of. When he's on, he's easily top 3 tight end in the NFL.
Absolutely.
And it's even more disappointing because he just got a big contract, So it's you want him to really live up to that, what we know he can do, and then that big price tag that's on him now.
Yeah, he got paid pretty well. He's not top 5 at the moment, but he definitely got a lot of money, and it's definitely dude, you gotta that, especially that ball that was kind of you could argue maybe it was thrown a little too far by Carr, but it was close enough that he could get one hand. If you can get one hand, you can get 2 hands. He should have adjusted to that ball, and that's something that if you're being paid that much money, you need to do.
Yeah, even if he doesn't catch it and take it to the house, as long as even if he just catches it and falls down, it's still a big chunk.
Absolutely.
I understand that sometimes it can be hard on passes like that to try and adjust and get out there and get it. I'm more worried about down in the red zone, that one that was like kind of, it didn't come right to his chest, optimal, but like it was still within his wheelhouse, like right in
Oh,
his face,
absolutely.
like maybe like a couple inches above his eye line. Like it was right there for him to get.
And he to put it lightly, pussied out of it in a way. He like didn't keep his eyes on the ball, and he like anticipated the hit before he even like caught the ball.
Yeah. So that's not uncommon for receivers, but I mean, if you're going to be a big tight end, you're going to have to kind of take shots. We obviously don't want him to get killed, but like
that's part of
I
the
think there was
job
enough,
description.
yeah, I think there's enough space there to where you can make that catch and not get completely obliterated, So hopefully we can see a little bit of an upwards trend for him throughout the season.
Absolutely.
Just too dominant of a player to go missing like that or make mistakes.
Yeah.
And then the ugly, speaking of mistakes, I'm just gonna go with offensive coaching kind of as a whole.
Yep.
People want to point to us being like 10th or something like that in points per game, but like the league is currently very down in its scoring. So when you compare it to last year's scoring across the league, it's just we're not coming out and scoring well whatsoever. And that's being shown by our deficiencies in the red zone like we've seen for years. And that falls on play calling. I feel that McDaniels like keeps harping on needing to have balance, but I feel like there's a complete lack of balance and focusing way too much on the pass when like there are certain points where we need to be running the ball, especially with how well it's been working. I feel like the O-line's starting to like get figured out and really come into its own, and we're able to like, get 4 or 5 yards a carry and like get these big runs. So we should not be abandoning that. And when you get these big plays, like as a whole, the sloppiness of the offense has kind of really held it back, because like we're having these big plays and then they're getting called back by penalties, or there's opportunities for big plays, but it's just like dropped pass after dropped pass, or like it's about to hit and then someone misses an assignment. Big runs and like, or what should be a big run, but someone just misses a block and whatnot. It's like little things, people not doing their job and just like being unfocused or lazy, just not as much effort as you want to see, and it's resulting in a lot of sloppiness that like we're seeing like a lot of flashes from this offense throughout games where you're like, that is what it should look like, and then as soon as one bad thing happens, it kind of derails it all,
and then we can't recover.
And so I feel like that's what we've seen is the sloppiness in one half, then people get into a groove and kind of get it figured out, but then there's still those slumps that they keep falling into that really make it hard to come back and win at the end of these games.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously agree with you. I mean, there's been points where it's like, you have like big drives even against the Cardinals. Like our offense was humming in the first half, and then second half come out flat. We had a very even, like pretty equally distributed ball between the run game and the pass game, like the first drive of the Cardinals game, and then we never went back to it. It's just stuff like that. It's just no consistency across the board. I mean, on the team in general, which is weird because like the preseason we looked well coached. There was very little penalties. There was no turnovers. And then all of a sudden the starters come in, and then, I mean, I get it's preseason, you're playing against other backups, but regardless, like, usually it's a telltale sign of, like, how coaching is, how the scheme is, stuff like that. If the backups can play the scheme well, that means you should expect the, starters, the stars of your team to play it well, and we haven't seen that, which is just very confusing.
Absolutely. I almost want to say, falling on that coaching thing, it's like the veterans aren't being as motivated to really like go out there and fight for their job every day. It's like they kind of just know that they're in that spot and that there's not that fire under them to really like give it their all on every play. Whereas in the preseason, you have these dudes who, a lot of them, we don't know their names, and so they're trying to make that name for themselves and really putting it all on the line, trying to like make a living out of this, and willing to give it their all. So I feel like that just pure effort is what really made us stand out in the preseason. Because I think of that preseason, how well we played on all aspects really had us very excited. And I think really feeds into why we are so kind of like disappointed with how the teams look so far.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Is like maybe it's just a like they're not driven to play at their tip-top best for whatever reason. Unlike the the backups that like were striving to make the into the league, were like, especially a lot of undrafted free agents were like, this is their chance to like make a practice squad at least, or veterans who are trying to continue their their job, trying to still earn a job and make money for their family and stuff like that. And now with the starters in, it's like, maybe not saying they don't have good work ethic, because I'm not going to claim that they don't, but the drive that the practice squad and like lower ranks of the the final 53, they don't have the same drive maybe anymore, or the same fire, and maybe we can just hope that they get that fire back that they had like towards the end of last year.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it kind of falls onto that trope of like hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. It's like, sure, your starters may be more talented, but like if you're going to go up against another team who their talented players are motivated and are putting in that effort, then you're really going to struggle to
win,
pull away and separate and get wins.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But the other side of the ball that has been up and down throughout the course of the season so far is the defense. And it's been a tale of two halves usually for the defense. It's usually like we start off bad and get good, or recently, start off good and get bad into the second half. Well, I shouldn't say recently, because that was last game was start off bad, end good. Cardinals game was start really good and then end really bad. But overall, the best player, the good player of the defense right now is, of course, my boy Max Crosby. I was debating between Nate Hobbs and him, but overall, I've been happy with how Max Crosby's been playing. He's literally like our entire front seven at the moment. He's making as much plays as possible as he can, physically do without, getting demolished by like a guard and a tackle and a running back on every play. He's getting sacks, which is important, especially since the rest of our D-line has been total ass at getting even close to the quarterback. He's been making plays in the run game. He's been just a complete package. He's definitely has that same play style as he did last year of his like emergence as a true edge rusher, and not even edge rusher, edge defender, of TFLs and QB hits and making sure the run doesn't get, he doesn't get run over in the run game. He's definitely continued that, performance from last year that earned him his first Pro Bowl and a second team All-Pro selection.
I'm gonna agree, because he's been the entire front seven. Like, he's getting double to triple teams almost every play, and he's got the most production out of anyone, not just on like that front seven, but it seems like the defense. He's still like you said, run and pass. He's producing 32 total stops, 16% stop rate on the team. It's like he is leading in all major like categories, it feels like. He's just that good.
He has 100% of the sacks on the team.
He's got 2 sacks. One was a fumble. It's like he's not getting the respect that he should, because the whole D line's kind of struggling, so people are putting that on him. But it's like,
if he wasn't there, oh my god, our D line would be trash if he wasn't there.
If you think about it, like, offenses can put more guys to block him because the rest of our D line's not as much of a threat.
Or linebackers.
Like, if we can get someone like a D tackle beside him, or linebackers, if we can get someone beside him, like a D tackle who can take one of those blockers off of him, then everyone's production is going to go up. Like, we have to be able to have more than one guy who can affect a play.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I just mentioned, the bad so far that I'm going to talk about is the linebackers. Linebackers have been other than Denzel Perryman, who only has played one game so far, and looks like he's on his return, which is thank God, because Jayon Brown and Divine Diablo have definitely been disappointing so far. Going into the season, I was expecting Jayon Brown to be a very good pass, defender, like linebacker, something that's Denzel Perryman's lacking. Divine Diablo is a converted safety, so you'd expect him to have pretty good coverage skills overall. And I wasn't expecting a lot of them from the run game because that's Denzel Perryman's job. Not necessarily like has to be that, but like he's our run stuffer, linebacker. He fits the gaps and stuff like that. But they've just been doing none of that. They haven't been covering very well. They have like one of the worst, coverage grades or coverage in general on our team. They're not playing the run very well at all. If they get if the runner gets past the defensive tackles, they're getting past the linebackers because either there's no one there, or they're not able to make the tackle. Like they just get run over. So our depth has been very disappointing. And if they could actually do something in coverage, which I expected them to be able to be good at, I would be less disappointed than I am, because I don't exactly expect them to be great run stuffers. That's not really the type of linebackers they are, but I expect them to do something. And right now they're just kind of cones on the defense. Like they're just kind of there, and if sometimes they get a tackle, and very rarely do they get a tackle. Nate Hobbs has honestly been our best linebacker, and he's the corner. He's gotten a lot of tackles, which is odd because our linebacker should be getting all those tackles that he gets.
I believe there was one game where Diablo led in tackles, but it was mainly, I think, a product of him like giving up so many catches, because I believe he's first or second. He's up there in like yards allowed in coverage this season among linebackers. I think he's competing with Patrick Queen for the...
Yeah, I think he's like bottom of the league. Yeah, he's like second to last other than Patrick Queen.
Yeah, and like you said, they're not really like known for getting big plays in the run game.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen that, and them not being able to get off blocks, and then blitzing has just been a problem because like they're not able to get through those gaps to get to the quarterback or get off one-on-one blocks in order to get there.
Yeah.
So they've just kind of go missing, and they get cleared out of their positions a lot, it feels like. I don't know if just, like the defensive play calling's an issue, and so they're getting like just pulled out of their zones, or maybe they're running man and stuff. But I feel like a lot of the time we're seeing the middle of the field just being wide open, and Jayon Brown and Diablo are off somewhere else, and there's people just running freely across the middle.
Yeah, we saw that a lot. We saw that a lot against the Titans.
I don't know if that's missed assignments or play, like just mistakes in play calling, or what it is, but
I don't know. There was one play actually that I remember. Two of them were like on one guy. Like they almost got confused on who was supposed to be covering someone, and it left the flat wide open for an easy first down. Like it was like a 3rd and like 5 or 3rd and 4, and they just left like the tight end wide open. They left Derrick Henry wide open on a couple catches. Like Derrick Henry's not a pass catching running back by any means, but he got I think 58 yards the other day on 4 catches. Like that just shows that they're not covering the flats very well. And it could also be a scheme thing. Like Patrick Graham's scheme is difficult, so if they're not like comprehending where they're supposed to be, it's going to be an issue, because then they just get confused and then they're not in the right spot at all. But they're also not, even if they are there, they're not getting the pass deflections. They're not interrupting like pass plays. They're not getting stops. They're not tackling very well. So like even if they are like in the play, they're not making a play, which is extremely disappointing.
Yeah, I think they just need to have more. I feel like also, regardless of individual effort, they need to have better chemistry together. Because like I've noticed like because I don't know how extensive your knowledge is on like linebacker gap fits and whatnot, but you gotta have like, when you have like 2 middle linebackers, one's gonna go like,
A gap,
the
B
front
gap.
side of the play, and the other one's gonna be looking for that like kind of cut back hole and whatnot.
Yep.
And like you said, a lot of the time they're covering the same dude. They're always in each other's hip pockets, and it seems like they're trying to do each other's assignment.
Yeah, like they don't
they're
trust
always
the
on
other
top
guy.
of each, trying to do the exact same assignment.
Yeah.
Like stuffing the same hole or covering the same guy. It doesn't seem like they're doing their own individual thing, and like having that chemistry to be able to like pass people off coverage with each other and like stuff like that. I don't know that hopefully that comes with time, but you have to be able to have that chemistry between your middle linebackers.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of, I also touched on them a little bit. The ugly of the team is the defensive line. It's just been awful. It's been absolutely awful. They are not doing well at all. Billings, actually, I shouldn't say that, not at all, but Billings has been like our best defensive tackle overall. He's been pretty good in the run game. He's been not pass rushing at all. Our defensive tackles are not good pass rushers. And maybe expanding beyond the defensive tackles, just Chandler Jones as well. Chandler Jones has been a big, ugly mark on our D-line. He's supposed to be like the tandem that we needed, that we, got rid of Yannick for. I mean, not necessarily in a direct trade because he was a free agent, but he was supposed to replace the production that Yannick had last year, and he has not even come close to that. But I'll take the trade anyway because Yasin's been really good. But yeah, I mean, Billings has been not good in the pass game. He's been good in the run game. Hankins has been meh. He's either really like he's in the play or he's getting run over. Bilal Nichols has not been a good pass rusher at all. In my opinion, he got close once and it ended up being a penalty. I forget what it was, but like against the Cardinals, he almost had a sack, but it ended up being someone else's penalty that he, got the sack removed for. Stuff like that. And then like Khalif Furl has been like our best like backup anything, defensive end or defensive tackle, whichever he plays. He's been like the best one other than Crosby, which is insane to say when you have Chandler Jones on the team. And the way he's been playing in the past years, he hasn't been playing super well. But he's playing good enough that I want to see more snaps from him. And I also want to see more snaps from Malcolm fucking Kuntz, dude. I want to see more Baby Mac out there. I want to see him playing more. Every time he's in the game, he makes plays, and it's just disappointing not to see him out there.
Yeah, I think he only played 5 snaps in the Titans game, and on 3 plays, he ended up having 2 run stops and then a pressure.
Yep.
He's making plays consistently every time he's out there.
Yeah, last season he got I think 10 snaps a game on average. And ended up with 2 sacks, a few pressures, and a few tackles, TFLs and whatever. But I think he's had 5 snaps total this season, or a little less than
within the last 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's had 0.
He got none versus Arizona.
Yeah, I think he maybe had 2 in week 1, so he's had less than 10 overall, which is so weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's there's big complaints from Patrick Graham's defense this year, or not from it, but about it, that we're just not rotating players at all. So people are getting entire all the snaps out of a game, and so you see these players when they do rotate in high production, and you want to see more of them. And it's like we just said, Kuntz is being productive, and it's not just that he's a raw player as an edge rusher and whatnot. It's he affects the run game too. Like I said, we saw last season him have multiple run stops, not just the sacks, and then he's doing it still this year. Every time he comes in, getting past the tackles and whatnot to get those run stops. Because when you have a player, he's very athletic, so he can dip and dive under tackles very easily and get into the backfield regardless of what their play design is. So he definitely needs more playing time, because I feel like his production is, if he gets more play time, his production is going to be higher than Chandler Jones has been. And then and the pass rushing portion
abilities
as a whole of the D line.
Yeah.
The D tackles need to be able to collapse that pocket and push it back, and Chandler Jones, since he's getting this play time, needs to be able to also collapse that pocket. And all I wanted out of Chandler Jones, even if he wasn't getting big sack numbers, he at least needs to be able to collapse that pocket to drive it towards Max.
Yep, so Max can get the play.
Yeah, to get the play, and it's just not happened in any way. These quarterbacks just have too much time
Mm-hmm.
in the pocket and are able to step up into it because these D tacklers are not being able to push it back and collapse it either. So,
yeah. But yeah, that's definitely the ugly of our defense, and that's also the bad, and that's also the good. But yeah, that's definitely the players so far, the general ideas of the team so far, the general like everything of the team so far. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun talking with Turtle. I hope you guys enjoyed him. So definitely go, if you enjoyed Turtle's knowledge, go check him out on Twitter. Go check him out on YouTube. I'm going to link both down in the description. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to like here and subscribe and comment down below. You're good, you're bad, and you're ugly. If you agree with any of our takes, if you disagree with any of our takes, let me know. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, Raider Nation.